Support is the most valuable department in your business. Not sales, not marketing, support. I know that sounds insane. So let's say that your support team answers the same question 20 times per month. So here's what that costs you. 20 questions per month, 10 minutes equals 200 minutes a month, which adds up to 3.3 hours per month and 40 hours a year. Essentially, that's a week's worth of work answering the same question over and over again. That's your direct cost. But there's more, because the real cost is what those 40 hours are not being spent on. The first time someone answered that question should have been the last time someone answered that question, because answering it once and turning that into a searchable knowledge base is not just best practice, it actually pays you back in time later. And that way, customers can actually find answers for themselves and not have to wait on your support team to answer those questions anyway. But the problem is most businesses don't do this. And that's just one question. Now imagine all of the other intelligence dying in your closed support tickets. Testimonials that could be feeding your marketing. Objections that could be preparing your sales team. Confusion points that could be improving your product or your customer journey. All of it closed, all of it thrown away and never used again. That's support technical debt. Now let me tell you why this happens. Because support feels like a necessary evil. It's the complaints department that everybody avoids like the plague. Honestly, nobody likes listening to complaining. I get it. But here's what nobody tells you. Support is the only department that gets the truth after the sale. And every time you close a support ticket, you're ending that conversation and throwing away any opportunity for every single department in your business to be better for whatever was shared with your support staff. Because the fact is that support should not be the end of the customer journey. It should loop back to the beginning. But before I show you how to capitalize on that loop, this is video 5 out of 6 in the Technical Debt Detox series, where we've already covered marketing, sales, service, now support, the gold mine everybody's ignoring. And next week in the finale, I'm going to show you my 5-step framework for how I audit businesses and eliminate all technical debt. Businesses used to have, a product and an ideal client market or industry that they were headed into, right? But now it's not just about what you sell and who you sell to, but how you sell online, because all businesses have an online presence. So that is as big of an asset as the product you sell and the people you choose to sell to in this day and age. You do not want to miss next week's video, where I break down exactly what my decade of experience has taught me about building online businesses. So link down in the description. If it's already live though, that video will be linked at the end of this video. So back to the customer journey, because most people think about it like this. You start with the marketing, that leads to sales, leads to the service, and then support for any struggles they're having as you provide whatever transformation or problem that you solve in business. But if you follow the line straight through, it means that the customer journey ends and dies with support. And there's no connection between support and any of the other departments before it. But the fact is that every single department should be fed by support. Remember in video 2, in the marketing video, we talked about AI searchability, and AI is going to rank you based on what other people are actually saying about your business. So marketing should be fed a weekly report from your support department, not only in the biggest problems that are being faced in your business, but also with the actual messaging and language that your customers are using to describe the problems that they have. But it's not just marketing, because in the sales department, your sales team is handling objections and what they think matters. But meanwhile, support is hearing about real objections after the sale. And when it comes to service, is it really any question? Your service team is busy enough getting your clients results without them or support having to answer the same question over and over and over again. By building a knowledge base, not only are you actually helping your clients in real time and not wasting time answering the same question over and over again, but you are actually building a business asset that's going to help you get more clients in the future and get them results faster. And with the onset of AI, now your customer support tickets can be turned into articles almost instantaneously. And lastly, support can actually feed support, because like I said, if you have one person answering the same question 20 times, then what are the chances you have more than one person actually answering the same question over and over again? So Why stop with feeding the other departments when support could actually be feeding itself as well? This is compounding intelligence. Now, here is a bonus internal application of this exact same system, and it's going to save you thousands of dollars on employee training across your entire business ecosystem. Because I always say, how you do your work should not be harder than the work you actually do. New employee onboarding is expensive, and not just in the hours that you spend training them, it's also a cost in distraction because you have other resources helping this new person get up to speed on how your business operates. Where are the client contract templates? How do I submit expenses? Can you show me how to run that report again? And the problem is, if they're answering these questions, they're not working. And it's not wrong to have questions. That's not the problem here. The problem is answering these questions takes time away from your business growing and scaling. So here's what I set up for a client. We took all of their internal documentation and put it into an AI-powered notebook. And there's a lot of different applications you can use for this, but I'm going to show you my Notebook LM version just for today. And this is a completely free tool. If you build a knowledge base with these resources, then you can simply ask AI the question you have, and it's going to not only answer the question, it's also going to reference which resource it used to answer that question. And the best part is that unlike ChatGPT, Notebook LM won't just make up answers because it's only allowed to reference the documentation that you gave it. As a result, from building this internal knowledge base for processes, we actually cut down their training time by 75%. It's the exact same principle as the using support to feed your other departments, but this is for an internal way to save yourself time and money on answering the same questions over and over again. Not to mention, it's easy to add to and update later, and in an interface that is for the future. Because it's easier to be able to type out your question and then have AI comprehensively look through resources to give you a fully comprehensive answer, because your answer could be in multiple resources. Okay, so here's what you need to do this week. Step 1 is you need to mine through your support tickets for gold. Now, you can actually use AI to do this. You don't have to do this personally. Step 2, share these insights with those departments and make this a consistent practice to create these loops in your business so that support is not where intelligence goes to die. It's what actually feeds your business to make it smarter for the future. And step 3 is anything in your support department needs to be documented and start building that knowledge base. Build a system today, not only for your clients, but for your internal processes as well. It's one of those things you build once and keep adding to, but it takes little to no effort to make this knowledge base the most valuable thing in your business, not only for your clients, but for your internal team as well. Sometimes productivity is not about having the best systems and processes. It's just about having an easy place for people to go to get their own answers. Simply, productivity is knowing where to find the answers. All right, so if you haven't already, sign up for the Technical Debt Detox, because you're not going to want to miss next week's video where I actually break down my 5-part framework for how I audit businesses and how I have been auditing them for the last decade. And if you haven't already, get your free tech health score. What this is going to tell you, you're going to answer 25 questions. It takes about 10 minutes, and it's going to tell you exactly where your biggest holes and gaps are in your current business technical setup. Now, when it comes to this day and age in the business era, what makes the people who are successful from the people who are unsuccessful? How they show up online, which is their technical setup, aka what I call your business ecosystem. So next week, I'm going to show you my 5-part framework, which is worth thousands of dollars to previous clients, but I'm going to give it to you to DIY it for free because I want people to actually start 2026 free of technical debt. Fact is, with AI these days, people have gone mad when it comes to adding tech to their tech stack. What used to be called simply software bloat and trying to manage like 17 different tools was the average is now increasing on a daily basis. And it's going to make businesses unmanageable eventually because you cannot bounce between 20 different softwares and expect to be productive. So if the last video in the series is live, it's going to be right here or right here. But join the Technical Debt Detox series, link in the description description or in the pinned comments below, because then you'll be the first to know when it goes live. I'm Alyssa, the Business Cowgirl. Stay tuned for next week. I'll see you on the next one.